to Chat Zion, the city of city when it comes to YouTube chat shows.
Hello.
Welcome, Joe.
Welcome. I am thankful to be here. Another day. Whew.
We're going to hit home today and really get down to the nitty gritty of it and focus our chat on what it's like in today's secular society to be a Christian man.
A Christian now compared to back in the day is much more harder, because now you've got a lot of things. As a man, you're expected to be the man of the house, be a breadwinner, be a great provider for your family. There's more expectation now than ever before to men. And being a Christian is, in now's age, you've got to be more resilient, you've got to be more management, you've got to perfect management, at home, and just, be an influence wherever you go, wherever God has placed you, whether it be at work, whether it be at school, that is your place of influence,
Yeah, and I think they're the two big parts,
Yeah.
Being a Christian man, you've got to, first and foremost, you've got to be a Christian.
Yeah.
You've got to be active about that and trying to influence people and trying to bring other people into the same relationship with Jesus that you've got yourself.
Yeah.
That's the goal, that's the whole point of it, really. That's what God wants us to do. I think, and the other part is like you said, you've got to have that resilience.
Yeah.
Being a Christian, you're the minority now. You're the outcast, you're the different person a little bit when it comes to society and the views of the world, with all of the science and the technology and all of the political and cultural things that are impacting our world. Christianity is being sort of nudged out of the way a little bit so that all of these other things can take hold.
Yeah, back in the days, I think there were more people Christian. Now you're like the odd man out, Oh, that guy's the church boy. That's the guy who goes to church, and like they say. And I remember hearing a man say, he said, you're not meant to fit in, you're meant to stand out. And that is what being a salt is. The salt stand out. When you eat food, it stands out. And the scripture in Matthew that says, a light cannot be hidden under a bed, because you're meant to, it stands out in the dark. And most of the time, because we're trying to be friends, we try to fit in, as much as that is good. I'm not saying that you be a weirdo, wear suits and go, you just become a weirdo, you don't influence nobody.
Yeah, and it's that balance of fitting into the world that's around us.
Yeah.
And being able to make sure that we're not, alienating all of these other people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as you're trying to fit in with everyone, you're trying to stand out. Because you want them to see how much better life could be if they take on that relationship with Jesus that we've got.
Yeah.
And fitting in and standing out at the same time is kind of upside down, back to front from each other, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's getting that balance is what we've got to do. And the world's going to turn its back on you every now and then, and people are going to have a go at you, people are going to talk down to you, people are going to, ostracize you for being, church boy.
And like what I do is, whenever, and this is why testimony is so good, you talk to them about your story, that they come to a realization, hey, he's just a normal person like us, he's not somebody that, like when I share to people about my story, it makes them realize, man, he's just like me. But the only difference is I have a hope. And I say, hey, I used to have anxiety. I used to have this and that.
Yeah.
But one thing that worked for me was having a relationship with Jesus. And and that's, because I think you can either say, hey, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, you're going to be a Christian like me, or either the other problem, and people will resent you for that,
Yeah.
Saying, oh, he's better than us, or either saying, hey, or you can say it another way, hey, I know what you're going through, I've been through that, but this has worked for me. I'm just like you, I breathe the same air as you,
It's not about telling people what's wrong.
Yeah.
It's about showing people what's right.
Yeah.
Showing people a better way and an easier way.
Yeah.
And like I said before, a way that we can rely on that hope that we've got. You don't want to be in a world without hope. you know, just even thinking of that, it's a sad, miserable thought. It's like, yeah, well, without hope, good. What's the point, you know? If you don't have that, if you take that away from people, what are we doing here, you know? You've got to have that. And for people to understand that we're, you know, a normal person.
Yeah.
You know, we're not some strange creature from another being.
Yeah.
We do the same, we experience the same things as what they do.
Yeah.
We just take it on in a different light because we've got that trust and hope.
Yeah. And it's also, you can tell people that, hey, you're a Christian, you're a normal person, you know, it's, you know, to be a Christian and be a normal, you know, be a normal person. You're a normal person. And when I think it always seems as, you know, to approach it in a way where you say, hey, you know, it is okay. It's okay. I've been there. I've done that. And this is what has worked for me. Christ has been mine. And not saying, hey, you know, you were doing this wrong, you know, you should be like me. And you just distance yourself from people.
Yeah. And it's like that, you know, not every single Christian person is someone who has grown up their whole life and gone to church every Sunday for their whole life from day to night. You know, not every Christian person is someone that still goes to church every Sunday. You know, people do the best they can with what they've got, and that's what it's about. But a Christian is separate from other people because we understand that the best we can from what we've got doesn't just include what we've got for ourselves now. It includes what we can get and what we have been given to us through Jesus Christ. You know, and it just makes everything so much better. You know, if you've got someone who's the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, above and beyond anything else, who can give you what you want, what you need when you need it, there's no need for that fear and doubt and panic in your life. You don't need to freak out because that opportunity hasn't come up yet, because that person still isn't associating with you the way that you want them to do. That job hasn't come yet. Whatever it is, you can still sit there and go, it's all good. You know, there's a plan that God has for me. You know, and we can trust in that plan and that it's all going to be alright, because the bad stuff, the evil that was in the world, has all been accounted for. So we don't have to freak out and worry about that bad stuff. We can focus on the joy and on the love that is still in the world that we got.
And it's that message of hope. When people hear that, hey, even though this is going wrong, for me I have a hope. And it's that hope that you can hold on to. The hope that Jesus is your protector. Jesus is that's the hope that we have. When without anything else, when people have no hope, they lose hope, because to have faith, you've got to have hope. And faith is the substance of things hoped for. And the only thing is, when you don't have anything else to hold on to, people either will crumble, and that is why when people don't believe in Jesus, there's no hope. Yeah. Because when something goes wrong, life is hopeless. And for us, the very thing that draws us, that when we're going through stuff, is we got the hope.
Yeah, and isn't that such an awesome thing, you know, because you'll see people who will go and have something go wrong and have life crumble. And then you'll see someone else where life throws them a curveball, something doesn't go right for them. And then they can take that on the chin and they can work through that and push through that and use their faith to get through something that is a tough time. And, you know, being a Christian doesn't mean we don't have tough times. You know, stuff goes wrong.
Stuff goes wrong all the time.
I mean, I go for a football team who barely won a game in the last 10 years. I get upset every weekend. You know? I can't just go, God, come on, kick me a goal. You know, it's something that everything doesn't always go perfectly, and I think that's what people think sometimes, that we live in this world where everything just fits perfectly into our plans, and whatever we want we get all the time, and they don't understand that that's not what it's like. You know, we might ask God to help us out to get through something else, or, you know, we might ask for an opportunity, or might ask for forgiveness, or might ask for, you know, better patience. And, you know, it's not like God just taps us on the head and goes, yeah, done. You know, but He'll give us an opportunity to do that. And to grow through that experience. And then that's the whole point. You've got to latch on to what we've got and find a way to grow through it, and to grow closer in our relationship to Christ throughout all of these hard experiences.
And it's a good what you mentioned, because I believe it's the experiences that builds the character, that builds the patience, that builds the endurance. And I like what Paul said, it's like an athlete running a race.
Yeah.
And you're aiming for the finish line. And it's that endurance. You need endurance. If you're running a 400 meter, it's that last 50, 100 meters that counts,
Yeah.
And that endurance, that means if you're going to have endurance, you have to be going through stuff to endure. You can't say, oh Lord, give me patience, and never be put in a position where you will have to experience and allow the patience that God is wanting to build in you to be exercised. And
yeah, I mean, when you're growing, you've got to push yourselves to the limit to grow. I mean, if you're going to the gym and you want to build your muscle, lifting the lightest weight is not going to help. You've got to get to the point where you are stretching and pushing yourself and pushing through that barrier to open up the next part. That's what it's like. And it's something that is huge. It seems so insignificant just to keep going. But it's something that's a lot harder for people to do if they don't have that hope and trust in Jesus Christ. To keep going when something goes wrong, it's so easy to give up. And life nowadays and society nowadays, they accept this, no, can't do it anymore attitude, And you see it so often with young people. I work in a school, and I work in a non-Christian school, in a state school, and so being a Christian person definitely makes me that odd one out. But I quite enjoy every now and then just sitting and pushing a couple of buttons and throwing a couple of this is what happened at church on Sunday into the conversation just to see what happens. And every now and then someone will bite and someone will come back at you and say, oh yeah, but none of that really happened, or that doesn't matter now. Why do you need God to heal someone when you can go to the doctor and take some pills, or go get surgery to fix that thing?
Yeah, it's you're in the world, and God has placed you in there, and people are going to go against you. Different perspective, different upbringing. They oh, well, why do you do this? Why do you do that? Why do you do this? And for you being there and showing them what love is, and I remember I was in uni, and there was this guy that came to me one day and he said, "You're different from everyone else." I was so shocked because I wasn't doing anything so significant, like, hey everybody, let's come around. But people watch you and see you, and they know when God is with you and when God is working in you, there's an awe about you. You go anywhere, people will tell you that. Even for me at work, the people that will come to me and share stuff with me, they won't share with anybody else. He said, "Now you're just the kind of guy we know. There's something about you," and that's the thing, to influence people watch everything you do. You don't even have to preach a good message to let people know who you are. It's the small act of kindness. It's, hey, here's your lunch,
And people don't see that as often nowadays, which makes you stand out even more doing that one random thing, and people sort of sit there and go, why are they doing that? Why is that person doing that? And it's as simple as saying, why not? Why wouldn't you? You think about the world we live in, and that little bit of extra light that you can put into someone else's life in a world that's filling so quickly with all of this darkness. You can do that one little thing that can change someone else's day dramatically.
And that is good, and that's what I love about what we're doing, because media, as you can see, this is the way we reach people. And no matter where you are, you could, you can reach people anyway. I think the disciples would love to be in this time, because they can preach one message and just spread it to the whole world,
And not be stoned or nailed up or anything like that. It's probably a bit of a victory for us compared to the older Christians.
Yeah, I know.
Being able to sit there and go, yeah, Jesus is awesome, Christianity, get around it, and then not have someone charging in here with spears. I think it makes life a little bit easier for us, doesn't it? But that's the big difference for us. We're standing out, we're fitting in so that we can stand out. And that's what's bringing people closer to Jesus, and that's what makes our life so much easier, because we can do that, and we can do it for a reason. We've got a purpose to our life, which makes everything else fit in. You know, everything else becomes so much easier when you've got that reason for it.
You have something to live for.
Awesome. All right, so that's all we've got time for on today's episode. Chat Zion at YouTube. Subscribe to us so that you can see what's happening next time. Email us if you've got anything you want us to talk about, anything that you've got questions for us. chatzionmail@gmail.com. See you next time.
See you next time.